last year I purchased 3 sets of these green pole kits, and usually they come in a set of 3 for tomatoes or something like that. And I saw these at Lowe's, so I decided that I was going to get them and try them. I love how many variations of trellising and plant supports that I can make. And I noticed that this year, um, the garden was going to be in quite a bit of sun once the summertime hit. So I wanted to be proactive about having support up and not having to do this in the dead of heat. But more importantly, my asparagus long pole green beans were at the top of the first trellis that are on the bed to the left. So to be proactive, I decided to give them a way to trellis overhead so I could not worry about them just struggling and having somewhere to go. And if I have to, I will use a couple of the clips that I purchased from Amazon to help me with uh guiding the plant to where I want it to go. But I think it'll catch on. I am not really worried about the height of the trellis because it's just enough for me to walk under and nothing really heavy is going to be growing there. I wanted to make sure that I would have an easy time harvesting when it was time. I know they're not going to be here for very long, as once it is too hot they will stop growing. But I'm going to take advantage of this while I can and at least maybe work this out for the winter time for some snap peas or something else like that. I used the connector pieces to make sure I would have the most stability as I could and everything would be evenly spaced across the beam. And this will also help with the wind factor. I hope at least on high wind days, the trellis in the bed on the left will lift up. And I definitely want to make sure that the netting stays in place because, like I said, our sun is very different here in Texas. Very, very different. So I think I stopped to have lunch or something, or maybe the heat was blazing me. I don't remember. But I decided I was going to come back and add a little bit more support for the top of the trellis. And I'm just going to clip it in this time because I want to make sure each one of the cross beams is at least touching the support. And I haven't decided if I'm going to add the couple of remaining poles that I have or not. But it's really easy. I'm just going to clip it in and that's it. My mom loves buying plants. She bought a tomato 100 and she put it over here in an area I don't think about at all. Well, it's not that I don't think about it. Last year we had Malabar spinach over here, but it took care of itself. So I didn't have to do anything to it. So I didn't really think about it at all until I would harvest a little here and there. And then I saw all of the little seed polyps and so on and so forth. But I didn't think about it. It died off in the wintertime and I even pulled it. So, anyway, my mom dug it all up, or so she thinks. I'm just gonna say, or so she thinks, because I feel like it's gonna be a pretty resilient and difficult thing to get rid of. But I digress. She has planted a tomato 100 over here. And because I don't think about this area, I am coming up with a solution for figuring out how to water this plant with the same method that I am applying pretty much all around the garden, which is as self watering as possible. If I felt like I wanted to go to Home Depot or Lowe's, I would go and purchase a terracotta pot and stick it in the ground over here. And in fact, I still might, just to cut down on the length of time it would require to water this area. And I want this plant to do really well. So when I visit the garden Saturday, I am probably going to prune the bottom two row of leaves off just because I don't want them touching the soil. I don't want anything crawling up on them. And I don't know exactly how my mom planted this, if she did it in an L shape or if she did it so it would grow in a circle or whatnot. I don't remember seeing this plant virtually at all. So I kept looking at the tomato and I was like, it's all by itself. Like something's missing. And that was when I realized there was no companion plants around this area whatsoever. I'm watering in the basil and just the area around here. It's very thick and rich soil. And I just picked up the entire root clump of the basil. I didn't want to disturb it. So I want to make sure it's okay. It's accustomed to being in like a greenhouse environment, and everything that is in that covered bed is doing really, really well. So I'm just getting the area saturated so the basil will not be in as much shock. And then just to kind of feed the tomato because it was kind of dry over here. It was kind of muddy even when I put in the basils, and I don't know what it looked like because I didn't plant that tomato. So I came back to check the flow rate for the gallon, and it is working. I like where it is, but okay. Oh, okay. I couldn't. It is closer to the plant than what I thought. And I put some hay down to help keep the moisture. So, as of the filming of this video, this is, I believe, day 3 of fermenting some comfrey, some okra that I had that was going to waste, and some kale and other things that were just yellowing at the bottom. Nothing that was diseased or anything or had plant or bug seeds on it. I added an air filter to keep the mixture moving. And so I'm just straining it through the pot, and the bag that you see down in the bottom is some mosquito bits, and that just keeps mosquito larvae from getting in there, but so does the air stone, as well as keeping the water moving so nothing has a chance to just sit. I plan on using all of this all over the entire garden when I fertilize on Saturday. And this is one of the ways that I am just using everything that I have to amend the soil, feed the worms, and just keep as many chemicals as I can out of the garden, and then mitigate a lot of the cost, because if it's food that's going to go to waste, I might as well feed it to the worms and things like that. I'm very pleased because this does not have an odor to it at all. It still smells very sweet. And if it has, like, if it gets a sulfury smell to it, I know that it's gone too far. But I did this last year with just comfrey leaves, and I will be completely honest, it smells absolutely putrid. And I'm waiting on my comfrey to grow back so I can potentially get some more and just try it with just comfrey, but I'm using what I have. And I was thinking about putting the okra into the worm bins, but I don't want volunteer okra, and that was quite a bit of okra. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this yet, but it may go in the bottom of my comfrey pot just because that pot is out of the way, and I don't think it would be a bad thing if it was over there. I was just using what I have had at the time. Next time it could be some basil or whatever other kitchen scraps that I have. But this solution I will use as a fertilizer and a foliar spray because it is highly concentrated and needs to be diluted. And this is what I will be using at least every other week until the rest week, when I give the bed a chance to breathe and just have plain water, which hopefully coincides with the rain when we do get some here. In the next couple of videos, I'll be discussing the installation of the gravity feeder for the bell peppers. It is something to figure out, but I'm enjoying myself, and eventually I'll get it because not only does it water the bell peppers, it waters 2 tomatoes and some carrots.